All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody's doing well today on this beautiful Wednesday. As always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper, let's take lots of notes. And let's make sure that we participate and engage. As always, I want to start our day off by taking massive action, and that action stands for accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome, sending yourself body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading, trusting your education, strategy, trade skills, and intuition. Imagine your trade successfully materializing, obeying your trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear, and never looking back or stopping once your trade has commenced. All right, so let's get down to business. The market has been continuing to sell off. And we want to take a look at what's happening around the world, what's going on there, so that we can continue to be aware of the developments and how they impact these markets and our investments. All right. So if everybody can hear me okay, drop me one in the chat and we will get rocking. All right. Cool deal. Let's go ahead and get to it. Give me 1 second, everybody. All right, let's get to it. Let's go over to trading economics first. Donald Trump continues to remain at it. So, major boroughs in Europe were in the green on Wednesday, with both stocks 50 and 600 rising on optimism over a potential ceasefire in Ukraine, lifted investor sentiment. Meanwhile, the European trade unveiled countermeasures against the U.S. steel and aluminum tariffs, announcing plans to impose a retaliatory tariffs on 26 billion worth of U.S. goods starting in April. Right? Yesterday, Donald Trump announced that he will impose a tariff on steel and aluminum. Um, it's interesting. So we'll go ahead and dive into that. Aluminum futures rose to 2,720 per ton on Wednesday, attesting 9-month highs amid lower supply for major producers, while markets digested the impact of fresh U.S. tariffs. The U.S. imposed a 25% tariff on aluminum from all countries, but refrained from doubling the levies on tariff. I mean, on Canada, its main aluminum importer. Shortly after Donald Trump had threatened to escalate the tariff war, still the U.S. imports 80% of its aluminum. It uses, stressing domestic capacity and lifting prices. Right. Elsewhere, China produced 44 million tons of aluminum in 2024, the most on record, meaning that the output will be forced to slow considerably this year as Beijing capped production at 25 million tons in 2017 to prevent excess supply amid carbon emissions targets. Additionally, fresh trade data showed that aluminum exports out of China were muted after the government extended the tax rebates on overseas sales, lifting prices on foreign benchmark as local producers increase the share of domestic sales. We import 80% of our aluminum, and there's a 25% tariff on all of that, except out of Canada. Continue to watch the markets, good people. I saw Joy was posting things about some of these charts. We'll continue to follow. The euro traded above 109, reaching a fresh 4-month high as traders welcome signs of potential ceasefire in Ukraine. Kyiv accepted a U.S. brokered proposal for a 30-day truce with Russia as part of an agreement with the Trump administration to unfreeze military aid and intelligence sharing. The U.S. will now present the proposal to Russia for approval. Meanwhile, trade tensions escalate with 25% tariff on steel and aluminum. Imports from Canada, Australia, the EU, and other countries took effect on Wednesday, triggering countermeasures from the European Union. The EU announced 26 billion worth of tariffs on U.S. goods set to begin in April, covering steel, aluminum, textiles, leather goods, poultry, beef, eggs, and other products. Right? The euro's rally has also been fueled by expectations that increased defense spending will bolster the bloc's economy, while the ECB easing cycle may soon near its end. All right. So, good people, those in the US, watch out for, well, really around the world, watch out for price increases. But these areas, from an investor perspective, where'd it go? These areas are opportunities, right? They're opportunities. So we will stay vigilant and also continue to stay patient. Japan's business sentiment, right? Business survey index for large manufacturing firms dropped to negative 2.4 in the first quarter of 2025, down from 6.3 in the previous quarter. This marks the first negative reading since Q2 of last year and falls short of the market expectation for a modest improvement of 6.5. The latest reading comes as persistent inflation pressures and solid economic growth push the Bank of Japan to raise interest rates further. All right. Additionally, Japan manufacturers are grappling with the escalated global trade war, with Donald Trump imposing tariffs on key trade partners, including Mexico, Canada, and China. The BSI measures the difference between the percentage of firms expecting improved business conditions and those anticipating deterioration. That means more businesses are anticipating deterioration based on the current reading. And despite the recent downturn, large Japanese manufacturers expect conditions to stabilize, forecasting an index of negative 0.5 in the next quarter. All right, so business sentiment is dropping. Staying on Japan, Japanese firms are in wage negotiations, as we've talked about, right? The Rango, the large union, is pushing manufacturers, and their goal is to have average pay increase of 6.09% this year. And many of the manufacturers have come around and been willing to do so. There's some that have gone below that. You look at Mitsubishi, Nissan, they have come in below that number, but Toyota has come in around that number with hikes of around 24,000 yen per month. So depending on the worker, obviously, but those negotiations are starting to get wrapped up, but those wages are coming in higher based on the request. So we'll continue to monitor this because the recent real wage reading was below the expectation. It actually decreased to 1.8%. Um, so we'll continue to watch how this impacts the Japanese yen, but um, businesses are still in an iffy spot right now, trying to manage inflation and tariffs and just the global trade tension altogether, which puts the pressure on those manufacturers. So we'll continue to monitor Japan as they move. Um, but that's there. Over to the calendar. See, did I miss anything? Over to the calendar. Let's get a quick refresh. For today, Jolt's job openings yesterday came in above expectation. Um, I didn't get a chance to take a look at what Christine Lagarde said this morning. We got CPI coming in today, 8:30, right? Going to be a big number. It's expected to come down to 2.9%. Um, so got that forecast there, the year-on-year number. So we'll watch and see, right? And the others are projected to be lower as well from previous. So let's watch and see how that number comes in. Could get at least a temporary boost in the market sentiment. But some of the things that are being implemented now, the lagging effects, so we could see those in future months from a CPI perspective. So we'll continue to monitor that as it comes out. 8:30, 9:45 Bank of Canada rate statement. Right, we'll see where they come in. Expected to cut by 25 basis points. Right, continuing that trajectory. And then we got the press conference afterwards, and we'll watch to see what's said out of the Bank of Canada. We got crude oil inventories today as well. Um, and then tonight we got inflation expectations for the Australian dollar. All right, so that's where we are from the calendar. All right, and Benny, good morning, bro.
Ryan, good morning, sir. How are you?
I am doing well, man. Rocking and rolling. How are you?
Oh man, doing pretty good.
Awesome, awesome. What's top of mind for you this morning, bro?
Oh man, just uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
There we
Can
go.
you hear me?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, okay.
Just the tariffs, man.
He
Right?
continuing to,
Sweeping he imposed sweeping steel and aluminum tariffs, right?
yeah,
Um, you know, so and Europe swiftly retaliates. That's
yes.
that's on the main page of CNN this morning. So
And they retaliate on a lot.
yes. Yeah, so that's it, man. That's it.
Yeah, yeah,
The drama continues, man. That's I'm interested to see what happens with the data today for inflation, and if it has any impact at all, considering what's going on with all these tariffs. So that's all I have, man.
my bad. Logan's alarm was going off to get that. But yeah, dude. So we'll continue to watch them, see where things go. Uh, yeah, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, man. What a mess,
Yeah,
you know. And then I guess the Department of Education layoffs occurred last night.
did they?
I think it's supposed to be up to 1,300 people. You know, Joy, funny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1,300 people. Some have also closed the agency. Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, and then the details. Uh, I was listening to one lady was on TV last night who got fired. Was in a prominent position with the Department of Ed, and she said it's obvious because the head, right, Linda McMahon, right, the head of his Department of Education, you know, said, "Oh yeah, 1,300 people, but we're keeping the good ones." And when you look at the demographics of who the good ones are, it's blatant. It's bad, man. It's
Wow.
bad.
And that
It's
1,300 doesn't sound like a large number, but that's 50% of the workforce.
yeah,
50% of the workforce.
yeah. It's bad when you look at the demographics of who they, you know, you know, preliminary data. When you look at who, the lady said who they decide to keep versus who they fired. She's like, it's obvious what they're doing. So it's it's not a good situation. Not a good situation. So that's all I have.
Let's brush up on some homeschool education.
I
um,
I agree.
uh, yeah, yeah. Joy's going in right now. All right. So, um, continue to be vigilant, good people. Um, continue to be vigilant. I'll leave it right there for right now. Let's take a look at these markets, man. Um, I'll come back to this GJ, but we talked about that this one continue to move to the upside, and we've got that movement. We'll come back and take a look at it after we take a look at the dollar index. Boom. All right. We're continuing to make that move to the downside. Right. We're getting a little pullback right now, but we're trying to break this 103 level. I'll pull that out for now. Trying to break this 103 level. Not able to strongly close below it, but we'll see how things move today. Stochastic is in the buy zone here, so we'll continue to monitor the developments here and see how the market shifts. Coming back to the 4, you see we're kind of sliding to the downside. We'll see if we push into that 118 and 127 zone. Excuse me. Um, and potentially even get down to this 101 level. But as of right now, just moving sideways, trying to figure things out here. That CPI might do the trick in one direction or the other. All right. So we'll continue to monitor there. Okay. But that's the DXY. Um, take a quick peek at oil while we're sitting here. We'll come back down to the daily. We did that larger analysis already. Oh, these are my drawings. But to Joy's point, we're moving to the upside, right? Starting to press back to the upside, that double bottom trying to form, pressing long there. Stochastic still in the buy zone, coming down to the 4. There's that 80-20. Excuse me. And there's that push to the upside. Okay. Um, so we'll continue. I'm looking to see, right? Again, I'm looking for continued bullish action here. I have my positions in, but I'm looking to see if we get this nice cloud break and cloud confirmation on the 4. That's where I'm monitoring this one from. Um, Once we get that, right, that gives me confirmation of a larger move to the upside. So this is the chart I'm monitoring this shorter term, or 4 hours shorter term for me right now. 80-20 to the upside. And then over the longer term, you got the 80-20 on the daily, right? And then looking for that C to D move on that weekly and monthly chart that we talked about yesterday. So, but that's oil, right? Looking for the move to continue to the upside. Okay, we're getting a cloud break there on the 1 hour. We got the Kumo twist. Lagging span is above price. We'll look to see that get above the cloud as well, but we're tracking to the upside right now, and we're starting to get those confirmations on the lower time frame. Yeah, Joy. Kyiv approved the 30-day ceasefire agreement. Now they're taking it to Vladimir Putin to see if they can get his approval on it for a 30-day ceasefire. Yeah, yeah. So we'll see how that goes. So that's oil. Oil push to the upside, breaking the cloud there. Questions on oil? Nope.
Nope.
All right. Want to just check in on this pound NZD. I'm still sitting in this one to the upside. All right. We'll come back. And this is what we're tracking here, this C to D move. The extension at $2.32, almost $2.33. We're making those smaller ABCD waves to the upside here, right? So continue to track that move long. The stochastic is coming down, right? So once it gets to that buy zone, we could see some momentum pick up to the upside. Come down to the 4, right? We're sitting in 80-20 scenario here, okay? So I am watching that closely because I am looking for a pullback at some point, right? And we could get that here. Excuse me. Looking for a pullback to come. See if we get a low price, right? Maybe come back and test the trend line, and then give us the opportunity to either add to the position or get in the position to start on the move back to the upside, get us to the matching daily D extension there at 232. All right, so that was just lingering right now, but if we get some confirmation of a break to the downside, right, that could be a nice opportunity on a counter trend move, or if you're waiting patiently for a low price, could be an entry opportunity once we get to the lower levels. All right, those 1 hour fibs are just choppy. Yeah, yep, just choppy there. So that's where we are on the pound NZD. But ultimately tracking this off the daily time frame for that longer term move, continuing to the upside. Questions on the pound NZD? Nope. Cool deal. Nothing really happening on that gas. Let's take a look at gold. I'm just hovering right now. All right, stuck in consolidation. Got tons of uncertainty. So we're just in a range right now on the daily time frame. Stochastic pushing back up into the sell zone. When we get down to the lower time frames, we'll look at this fib here, but just range bound right now. All right. Don't know if we're gonna go risk off or risk on, back and forth with tariffs, uncertainty. So we'll continue to watch the developments there. Coming down to the 4, right? You see that range more defined. And those down fibs, we took out the A there, indicative of consolidation as the fibs just bounce back and forth there. Okay. So not a ton doing on gold. There's our larger fib there where we do have an 80-20 here. Just looking to see if we get that continuation to the downside, right, to play out and get us back down into our sweet spot. We do have stochastic and the sell zone there. Okay. So watching this to see what direction we break, right? Are we able to continue that move to the downside and give us a move down to get us into our sweet spot? There we go. Or do we not? Okay. I would like this move down. Um, because I want to catch this low price to run back to the upside. So waiting patiently here. Let's see if we get that move. So that we can have some additional buying opportunity here on gold. Okay. Come down to the one. See if I get fibs to pop in here. Just gonna track these through. There we go. Nope. So we'll come here. And you see the back and forth there, right? We took out the A there on that push down and then bounce back up. So just bouncing on the 1 hour. So not a ton doing. Okay. There's your fib to the upside, just back and forth. So we'll continue to watch and see what happens with gold. That 4 hour fib. Let me take all these smaller ones out. I'll fix that later. Down here. Yeah. That fib's coming off of this low here. October 5th, 2023, 1810 range. And that's those fibs running to the upside. Cool. Any other questions on gold? 2536. So you started around here. Yeah, because those get broken down. I see what you got. That, yeah, the smaller wave there. Yeah. Dig it. Cool beans. No other questions on gold? All right, here's a chart that I haven't looked at in a while. Not a huge crypto trader. Do have some investments on it, but um, they didn't put it back in here yet. Steep. We'll look at this chart. I don't have it fully
Nope.
marked up, but that's unfortunate, man.
It is.
That is unfortunate. Let's track these fibs to the upside. Is it really broken like that? It is. Um, so let's do this. All right, so that's the daily. So we got that crazy run up to 10, was it 107, 108, right? 109, and now we're coming back. Look at the 80-20 there. Missed the D extension, and now we're coming back down. So from a daily time frame perspective, 618 retracement, right? We could potentially see some more movement down. I'll drop back to the weekly and monthly in a second, but let's watch this here in these developments, right? As that stochastic pushes lower into that buy zone, right? See if we get this to turn over and make its way back up to that high of at least 109, getting to 109,599 to clear that D extension. Okay. Let's go further back for a second. From a weekly perspective, there's your pullback. So we could see it come deeper on the weekly and give us that past resistance as future support. Right. Um, 73. Stochastic on the weekly is already in the buy zone, but that takes a while, right? Um, we could see this come deeper. Let's watch around the 73 level. See what the monthly has to say. Yep. Previous resistance, breakout, pull back and retest. So watch the 73, 770 level. Yeah. Let's watch this level 618 retracement. Maybe get down to 61, 71. Um, let's watch that level for some buying opportunities. See if we get down here and settle in. Okay. Back to the daily. So we had that beautiful 80-20 is playing out great, right? And now we look for price to come back in. Right. This on the daily time frame, it could be a 78686 retracement. But let's see if we get another push down here and get price to settle in. Okay. Come down to the 4. And on these cryptos, man, I'm just looking for buying opportunities. Right. I'm not interested in shorting them. I'm looking for buying opportunities. All right, and that's all choppy all the way up. We'll come back down. Maybe 63 if this 4-hour fib plays out. That'll be interesting. All right, if we get back down to 60, this 63 range, definitely looking for buys. All right. Definitely looking for buys. So let's watch this and see if we break that level and get down to the 60, 61, $63, $63,000 range. And definitely sit tight and look for some opportunities. Okay, so here's our range here. Let's see if we're able to get there. With the uncertainty and things that are happening, I don't see it as unrealistic. I see it's a definite possibility for us to get down to this range and then have some buying opportunities and move back to the upside. Okay, so that's on your 4. Come down to your 1. Some confluence there. Some confluence there on the 4-hour and the 1-hour. So let's look for some more downward pressure here. Looking for some more downward pressure here, coming back into B zone. Right. And then I'm looking for longer term buys back to the upside. Questions on Bitcoin? Nope.
Nope.
All right. Now let's come back to this pound yen. It's moving. All right. We looked at it yesterday and we said we've been lingering in this zone with some of the things that are coming out of Japan. We know the Bank of Japan is still relatively in a hawkish position, but they're waiting, right? They're waiting to see what the data says, what the wage increases look like, what the real wages continue to look like, and what inflation looks like. So things are starting to line up for them, but they don't want to rush things, which is typical coming out of Japan. Okay. Um, so with this pound yen, we're starting that push back to the upside. So now we're looking to see if we're able to break this 192,984 level. All right. We break that, then we can be off to the races to the upside. Okay. Come down to the 4. We would like to see those cloud breaks. We got a nice cloud break, came back, retested, and we got that push. Right. So now that 4-hour confirmation is there. The 4-hour confirmation is there. Okay. On the smaller wave, we had an 8-6 retracement. So that matching extension is here at 193, which would give us a break of that 192 level. Okay. A 193 even level. Um, for our larger move to the upside. Right. So we're piecing these moves together as the consolidation potentially comes to a close on this pound yen. Okay. Of the yens, this is the only one that I have a position on. Not a large position, but it's been a ton of back and forth. And as this started to wind up, right, I took a position on this one, on the move to the upside. It's the only yen cross I have a position on right now. But I'm looking now to see if we get a break of that 193 level. Okay, we got the cloud break. We're bullish on the cloud ahead. Okay, our lagging span is above price and above the cloud. We got our TK crossover. So we have all of our cloud confirmations and prices moving to the upside. We do have a stochastic in the sell zone, which for me just calls for a pullback on a lower time frame. All right, to retest the cloud again. And if we're able to stay above, all right, see that bounce. Okay, so looking at a larger move to the upside, getting us to 203. Okay, we didn't get to that 786 level, so this is a 618 retracement on this fib. That matching the extension is at 203. So that is my target. That's my target. Okay, so we come down to the 1, and we looked at this also, 8-6 retracement. Looking for that cloud break. You got a nice bullish move yesterday. Yesterday morning, you got a nice pullback through the early afternoon here in Eastern time, and now you're running to the upside, right? So you got your break of the cloud, your retest of the cloud, and now you're continuing to the upside. Excuse me, headed to the matching D extension on the 1, right in this range that we're watching, right? 192. Okay, so headed long. Additional confirmation is to break this 193 level for continuation to the upside. Okay. Questions on this pound yen? Nope. All right. Cool deal. Take a look at this Aussie cat, and we talked about it over the weekend. This 80-20 is, oh no, it wasn't 80-20. We got to 382 there. But we're moving back to the upside here on the daily. Okay, came into this daily support at 88, and now we're making those ABCD waves to the upside. 618 retracement. Look at this. I manually drew that in before. Boom. 618 retracement. Slowly making our way to the matching extension of 91.99. Right. Aussie isn't the strongest right now. Neither is the Canadian dollar. So it's moving, taking its time, but it's moving nonetheless. Okay. Moving nonetheless. All right. So I'm looking for continued movement to the upside on this, at least getting here, but potentially moving further to the upside. We'll see what happens with that rate statement for Canada later on today, right? Expected a rate cut. So we could see that continue to weaken and it will continue to rise there, depending on what happens in that press conference. We come over to the 4, right? We got a 618 retracement here, and we're trying to make our way to the upside. Pulling back right now, but those waves are moving long. We got a cloud break, a retest. Now looking for this to continue moving to the upside, 92.036 as the target on the 4. Okay. All right. And overall, these ABCD waves have played out just as we wanted them to. Okay. So moving along, it's a larger fib there, which I'm looking for that fib to be taken out on these moves to the upside, getting to that matching D extension there. Okay. Coming down to the 1. That didn't happen. I'll run the fib off the low. Boom. 8-6 retracement didn't take out the A. Has no choice but to go our way. Broke the cloud. Ultimately stayed above the cloud. We're testing it again here, but that matching extension is right. This should actually be closed. 8-6 retracement. We got to that matching extension here. 91,234. Just missed it. Just missed it. So next push up, we'll get to that matching D extension there. We'll look for a continuation long on the Aussie CAD. Okay. So looking long there. CAD Swiss. We touched on this one yesterday. And Benny touched on it over the weekend as well, looking for this pullback and a continuation lower, right? Trying to create a swing low here, right? These are all-time lows on this pair, okay? So double bottom style happening here, and we're trying to push back to the upside. Stochastic coming out of that buy zone, right? So headed long, at least in the short term. Right here, we got a 618 retracement. We weren't able to break out to the downside to get to that 60 cents level. Trying to turn over, so we'll see how far this pushes to the upside before we come back down. But turning over right now, I'm pushing to the upside here. And we'll see what happens with this rate statement. There's your fib on the one. Just touched that 118 level, and we got to push out. All right, just wick that level. So there's an 80-20 there. That's trying to make its way to the upside. We'll see if we get a nice clean cloud break here, strong bullish push, and then at least get back to 61,858. Okay. So we'll see if we get that continuation there. So that, just watching that one intrigues me because we're at all-time lows there. Okay. So that's the CAD Swiss, the CAD Yen. On the daily, sitting at these lows, trying to make this swing back to the upside, all right? As that yen goes back and forth and they continue to remain patient, all right? Let's see if we get this one to start making moves back to the upside. We'll see what the press conference holds, but this might be the one Canadian dollar pair that moves to the upside. So we'll watch that there on the daily. Come down to the 4. Here's your 80-20. Shallow retracement. Didn't get to that 382. Push down into that 118, 127 zone. And we got takeoff. Okay. So headed long on this CAD yen. We'll see what happens at the 382, 50%, 105, 673. But looking for this one to potentially carry as well, with the things happening with the yen. Okay. So there's your 80-20 that we'll track. And then on your 1, there's your move to the upside. Cloud break and look for a pullback and a continuation. So we'll run our fib off the low on this one. Boom. Right. We'll look for a pullback and then a continuation long. Okay. That is the CAD yen. Long 80-20 on the 4. Questions on either of those? Just wanted to pop through these Canadian dollars as that rate statement is coming up. Cool. Swiss yen pushing back to the upside. We're sitting down here consolidating at this low 165. Weren't able to break out below it. Now we're getting some bullish action back to the upside. So see if we're able to break out of this range and continue moving long here. See if we're able to get that to happen. Boom. And a retest. Okay. But looking for this one also we're in an interesting space where we got tons of risk off sentiment because of all of the uncertainty. And with these two risk off currencies, right, you can get this consolidation. But on the 4, right, if we get this breakout to the upside, looking for price to at least get back to 175, 710. Okay. That's just my sentiment on all of the yen crosses, right? Looking for that swing on all of these, at least uh at least in the short term. Okay. What was your question on the CAD Swiss, Joy?
Um, could it remain strong against the Swissy, even though the Swissy been weak lately, but it's risk off?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with this press conference, but also looking at oil and what happens with oil. If we get oil to start making this move to the upside, does it give that boost to the Canadian dollar? Right. So in that particular situation, I think if that 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 oil strength comes in and gives the Canadian dollar a boost, I think then we could see that one continue to remain strong and push to the upside. Yeah. So I'm kind of watching both of those side by side, if you will, just to see what that impact is and if we can get that to happen. Break last night. Good job. Great work. Great work. Just continue to monitor it, right? Continue to monitor the fundamentals. Jonathan Sevens in the chat for Joy. All right. Yeah, just continue to monitor the fundamentals, right? Make sure things align. But with it being all-time lows, is definitely interesting to see what buyers are sitting down at that level. All right, so that's the Swiss yen. Come down to the 1. Got your nice cloud break after 8-6 retracement. We're headed to the matching D extension at 169.041. Right? Boom. Headed long. So that's one piece of confirmation there. If we're able to get, let me see what this looked like. Oh, we are getting a nice push off the cloud here. So we got that cloud. We broke the cloud, pulled back. Got a nice cloud break here on the 4 as well. So we'll look for this one to carry, at least for a little while. All right, so nice cloud break there and on the 1 hour time frame. So we're headed long here. Headed long. Boom. Okay. So that's the Swiss yen. Let's take a look at this Euro CAD. Man, that thing took off. So for the longest time, I was watching this 80-20 here. Well, this got to the 382. It's on the weekly time frame, but that took off like crazy to the upside. Ran into monthly resistance there. That was a crazy move. I had a position long on this, and I just had it set for this D extension here. I'm sorry, here, and on this fib, and it just continued running crazy, crazy. So, but I was watching this to see if this would ever play out and give us a nice retracement, and it did not. It did not. Exploded to the upside. Now, what I'm interested in here, is this. That's what I'm interested in. Do we get a pullback down into a retest this consolidation? Right? I don't know what would cause it. Something crazy out of Canada or just profit taking potentially in the euro. But the euro is strong right now with the investments that are coming in from an infrastructure perspective, from spending perspective, right? The euro is super strong right now. So I don't know that we get this, but I'm interested to see if there's a pullback at least that comes to 151, right? 152, this level right here. So looking to see what happens there, but all signs are pointing a continuation to the upside on this euro CAD. So as we get back to this daily, because here on the daily, we also had an 80-20, right? Just took off. So now once we get a swing high that forms, if it forms there, that'll be our new fib. And are we able to come back down and get to this 382, 50% level, right? And that's where that, harder to see here on the daily time frame, but that's where that head and shoulders pattern could come in at, is if we get a nice deep retracement here. All right, somewhere in that range like that. So watching this for the retracement to come. Okay. Come down to the 4. And there's your pullback starting. Or do we take out that A and continue lower to get back into this range here? So that's what I'm watching on this Euro CAD. Crazy move to the upside. Crazy move. Benny's been talking about it for what, 9 months now? The strength in this one and this one not coming back. So
Yep.
So yeah. On the run. Looking for low price to get back long. So that's the Euro CAD. It's pound CAD. Also running. Beautiful break. Look at that. Beautiful break of that level. We'll get a pullback, retest, and continuation. We'll see. But that's running long beautifully. So we come down to the daily here. And there's our fib. We got a 382 push there, so we're headed to the D extension at 192.55 or 53. Okay. Pullbacks and continuations along the way. So on the lower time frame, we'll look to see if we get a pullback and retest of that level. And then continuation to the D extension. Stochastic in the sell zone right now on the daily. There's your 80-20 on the 4. Look for a pullback, low price to get back long. That's it, good people. Boom. Looking for a low price to get back long. Questions on anything we covered this morning? All right. I know it's not a ton, but I'm continuing to be patient here. And I know we got people that trade on the lower time frames, but Benny and I have been talking just about our philosophy and us being patient. And we know we have people that trade on the lower time frames, but we also want to really instill in you guys, like, you still may trade on those lower time frames, but be picky in these times, right? Be picky in these times. You don't want to give your money back to the market, right? So be extremely selective in the positions that you take. It got to be a grade A, a grade A scenario to pull the trigger, okay? So be very, very, very selective in the positions that you take, ensuring that they meet your rules. So you're not giving money back to the market as it just bounces back and forth with all the rhetoric and the craziness that's happening right now. Okay. Benny says all the time, I'd rather wait 6 months to make my money in the second half of the year, opposed to give up some now just to break even at the end of the year. Right? So be patient. Be patient. Benny, anything before we wrap it up, bro?
No, sir, man. Can't top that. You said it all. Great session, man.
Appreciate it, man. All right, good people. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with Moss & Partner, Mr. Benny Allen. You guys have a phenomenal Wednesday. Peace.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.